Back on the SportsMax Zone, we continue now with more football in Jamaica. Premier League clubs Waterhouse and Portmore United have withdrawn from this year's CONCACAF Caribbean Club Championship scheduled for Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. That tournament set for the 16th of May to the 26th. This happening due to a lack of preparation and competitive activity because of the pandemic. President of the Waterhouse Football Club, Donovan White, had this to say. This decision is extremely unfortunate and a painful one because our team has earned the right to participate and we really wished we could. But the combination of no return to play has stifled our ability to generate an income and has left us financially unable to make the huge commitments required in order to participate. Similar sentiments were shared by the general manager of the Portmore United team, Clive Marshall. Clive said the decision to withdraw from the Flow CONCACAF Club Championship 2021 edition was most difficult and painful. Our players in particular look forward to these international platforms to showcase their talents. Unfortunately, we have not been able to train and play for over a year due to the pandemic and the lack of approval from the government. Now, the Professional Football Jamaica Limited, PFJL, issued a statement in which it spoke only of the possibility of the Premier League being staged. The PFJL is currently pursuing the possibility of a league in a controlled environment, which, even if approved, would not be likely to begin ahead of the CONCACAF Caribbean Club Championship. And amid the uncertainty around when professional football will resume in Jamaica, the president of one top-flight club, Humberland, Mike Henry, believes organisers should simply write off this season. The 85-year-old Henry, the most senior member of the current Jamaica Parliament, made his feelings known in a letter to chairman of the PFJL, Chris Williams. Here's what Mike Henry said. We have put our club and its membership in a state of perpetual uncertainty for the last year at great expense with no solution in sight. It is my recommendation that we cancel this season with the best interest of the health of the country in mind. What we need to do is to evoke the government of Jamaica to get our clubs vaccinated as a priority. This will have a twofold effect. Now, Chris Williams is about to join us to talk about some of these pressing issues. Chris, welcome to the SportsMax Zone. It seems every time we talk to you, we are in a position of limbo because there's hope that football will resume, and it keeps eluding the football fans in the country. This latest announcement with Portmore and Waterhouse being unable to compete in the CONCACAF Caribbean Club Championship, very disappointing, isn't it?
Yeah, very disappointing, but but not surprising. As you can well imagine, the reality is that we haven't had the opportunity to play for a year, and so there's just no way they would be able to to physically be able to handle it, nor economically be able to handle the competition.
Yeah.
So not surprising.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, Chris, the government had announced that they had given the green light for Premier League teams to begin training. What did that actually mean for the clubs? And didn't that have any, positive effect on some level of preparation?
Okay, that never materialized because a couple of things. One, it was a training within a bubble proposal, which is not financially possible. And then secondly, they need competition. That's what they need. They need, they need, to be playing against other teams and testing strategy and pace and so on. So that approval, we indicated to the government immediately after that we got that announcement that approval in isolation was not practical. So we needed the combination of the training approval and the competition approval, and that's where we are now. We are seeking to get that.
Yeah, there's a CONCACAF office in Jamaica, isn't there? Horace Reed heads it up. Of course, CONCACAF controls football in this confederation. The North American, Central American, and Caribbean region. Has his office been able to be a part of this solving of the issues?
Yes, absolutely. CONCACAF is a significant resource for us. Both CONCACAF and FIFA, are tremendous resources, technical resources that, frankly, we would not be able to survive without. So yes, they've continuously given us guidance and assisted us in establishing the protocols and ensuring that we operate the league without risk to community spread. So yes, CONCACAF is we're very grateful to have CONCACAF, and they continue to be a big support. And frankly, they have played a significant role in helping us to structure the current proposal in front of the government, which is the controlled environment proposal.
Chris, the PFJL has been propositioned, perhaps it's even stronger than that, by the veteran football administrator, book publisher, and parliamentarian Lester Mike Henry to just write off this season and focus on the next. He says the yes, no, will they or won't they, get into gear, stand down, all of that has wreaked havoc on the plans of clubs to organize themselves for the season ahead. And it has also wreaked havoc with the plans that they've had to make for their staff in this very extended interim period. He says, write it off and move on. What say you to that?
We looked at that at the board meeting. We put it to a vote, and the board voted in the majority to continue to press for some sort of football. No, I think I support the decision of the board, because there is no guarantee at this stage, guys, that come October, when the next season is supposed to start, that the conditions that we're facing now will have been eliminated. The trajectory of the virus indicates that only herd immunity will be able to stop.
But if I may interject, Chris, then by that same reasoning, if it is that the board isn't convinced that the conditions will ameliorate by, say, October, and that some extent of the herd immunity will have begun to set in by that time for the new season to start, does that not stand as a point to strengthen Mike Henry's call to call off this season, work on next season, and the variables that are attendant to next season? Let's see how we can conquer those obstacles thrown up by those variables, rather than going on stabbing in the dark as we have been for the past several months.
No, we feel that if we stop stabbing, we use stay in the dark. I don't think we're stabbing in the dark. But if we stop stabbing the government, we will drop to the back of the line, because, as you can well imagine, there are several challenges confronting the government, and we have to remain relevant, and we have to seek to get some sort of play executed to build a relationship with the government and strengthen the confidence. If we're able to execute a controlled environment, they will get confidence in that may now help us in the 21-22 season, which may also have to be executed in a controlled environment. So we don't see the execution of this season as hurting the process. We see it as helping the process, because it will allow us to demonstrate that we can execute according to the plan, and it will build a relationship with the government and strengthen the protocol execution, which is their concern.
Very well. So again, coming back from
and I want to add, play the earlier we get the players back to work, the better. So it does not make sense to have the players continue to be out of work until October. If we can get them back to work in June in a controlled environment, that must be better for football. Even if that is just a short one round league. That gives them an opportunity to knock some ball.
You and your team did a fantastic job by any measure to marshal the amount of support that you've gained rather for the league to date. 100 million was the target in terms of sponsorship. You either got there or you were very close. Whichever way it went, fantastic. So the vote at the boardroom level on whether or not to call off this season and look towards next season. Was that vote motivated by purely footballing reasons, or was there an element of having to deliver to the sponsors something this season? And so, given how gracious the sponsors have been in supporting you, that weighed heavily in the unanimous decision you said to vote no to calling off this season.
All right, I didn't say unanimous decision.
I tried to sneak that one in there, so it shows you're listening. Okay. Go ahead.
No, majority decision. But no, the sponsors remain supportive and have allowed us to make the decision on footballing reasons. So no, they will wait if it means waiting until October for season 21-22. There's no problem. They'll wait. However, as I said, we feel that it's important from two respects. One, to build the confidence with the government to ensure that they understand that we have the execution ability, and two, to get the earlier we get the players back on the field, the better. So if we can get them back on the field in June as opposed to in October, that is better for them both physically, technically, and also economically.
Chris, aren't you concerned though that since March 12 last year, when the WHO declared this thing a pandemic and a new phase in the approach to it was actioned by governments right across the world, that in Jamaica, only horse racing and to a lesser extent track and field, but an extent nonetheless, only those sports have gotten the green light. Nothing else. On nothing else has the government moved. Aren't you concerned that football may continue to die on the vine as these conditions continue?
Boy, George, concerned is not the word. It's disappointed. We need to take sports more seriously. When you take a look at Brand Jamaica and how Brand Jamaica is perceived globally, that is driven to a large part by sports. That's one. And two, when you take a look at the economic impact on the community of our sporting stars, and a number of our sporting stars come from vulnerable communities, and they tend to pass on their money wider. So they support a very wide family, for want of a better word. So the reach, the multiplier effect of a dollar from a sports star is much greater than most other industries. So both from the standpoint of promoting Brand Jamaica, and secondly from the standpoint of driving economic development in the country, we need to get our sports triple what they are now. We need to get track and field triple what it is now. And we need to understand the talent that we have in football and reach that talent can achieve.
Yes.
And I just haven't been able to get that across. I've tried in numerous presentations that this industry has a significant economic multiplier effect. But
Yeah.
that aside, the risk of community spread is extremely low, as demonstrated globally. The risk of community spread from playing soccer in an open environment, but fine, that was not approved. Now we're at the controlled environment stage.
Yes.
In a controlled environment, the risk of community spread is virtually zero.
Yes. It's an argument that you're going to have to continue making, Chris. I hear the frustration, and that's why I asked the question. We're out of time, my friend. I'm sure we'll talk again. So all the best until then.
Yes, I want to end on a positive note by saying that we have gotten some good response from the government this week. And we are having follow-up meetings tomorrow, and we hope to be in front of cabinet within the next 10 days.
All right.
So I don't want Jamaica to think all is lost. It is not. We are continuing the fight.
Well, I'll know if and when you go before cabinet, so I'll invite you then. All right.
All right, boss.
Good. Chris Williams, chairman of Professional Football Jamaica Limited. And because of the multiplier and the economic effect, that's why horse racing has been going on all through this thing. Back with more after the break.